Hi, in this video we will cover strong support questions. This also doesn't concern grammar, so this is a subset of the expression of ideas question type. Let's start. So on your official SAT, you likely to see 1 to 2 questions that look like this. Which choice provides best supporting example for the main idea of the paragraph? Or like this, the writer wants to include a quotation that supports the topic of the passage. Which choice best accomplishes this goal? None of the choices will contain grammar errors or false information, so you won't be able to eliminate choices by spotting common errors. Instead, your job will be to pick the choice that provides the strongest and most direct evidence. Right. So let's look at the tips. Number one, answer the question that is being asked. So the choices provided will all sound good. They'll be free of errors and include information that is at least somewhat related to the topic of the passage. So we can't just select the first choice that we see that avoids errors. Luckily, the question itself tells us what we're looking for, information that supports a particular idea. If we can identify the idea that we're supporting, we will be much more likely to select the correct answer. That's why following tips are so effective. Number two, restate the claim. Support questions are rarely phrased exactly the same. They may ask for support for the main point in the passage or paragraph, the previous claim, or another idea altogether. But we can't find evidence if we don't know what the evidence should be for. Always start by restating in your own words the point that you're trying to support. The question will provide this information. Number three, match ideas. Strong support is direct. It will contain similar ideas, cover similar topics, and relate clearly to the point it provides evidence for. Get rid of the choices that don't match the ideas they're meant to support. So, in the next slide, we will have a look at the sample passage and question, and we will use these tips and tricks to solve this. So, the passage is, we tend to think of invertebrates as little things like garden slugs. But this is misguided, as if we formed our view of vertebrates based only on fish without ever considering birds. So, here is the first red flag for me. I can't really get any sense of the sentence when I read based only on fish without ever considering birds. How is that related to slugs being small? But let's continue. The largest invertebrate on Earth, the giant squid, can grow to a length of 60 feet. Right. So I'm getting a better idea right now. First, they tell us that we tend to think of invertebrates as garden slugs. Garden slugs are very small. And then it tells us that the largest invertebrate on Earth, the giant squid, can grow up to 60 feet, right? So there's a comparison between small and large. But if you look at the underlined part on fish without ever considering birds, that doesn't really match up, right? So let's see what the question is. Which choice best provides supporting example for the main idea of the paragraph? So, number one is no change. Number B is on cats without ever considering dogs. Number C is on mice without ever considering elephants. And number D is on humans without ever considering other animals. If you look at the top tips, here in top tip number one, we've been told that all of the choices will somewhat be relevant and all of them will be error free. If you look at the choices, all of them include animals, right? And they include two animals and all of them are without error, right? So that doesn't mean if the first choice that we read that is without error, that is the correct choice. We should be more careful. If you look at tip number three here, it says the strong support is direct. It will contain similar ideas, right? So the idea that has been mentioned in the passage, which is not underlined, right? The underlined part should match that idea. And as we have discussed earlier, that in the non-underlined part, it says that invertebrates are small and invertebrates are large, right? So if you're talking about vertebrates, you should also compare small with large. And if you look at option number C is on mice without ever considering elephants. And if you put this in the passage itself, the passage makes a lot more sense. And that's why option number C is the correct option. That's it for this video. In the next video, we will cover another topic.